Okay. Right, so welcome everybody, welcome back after the summer holidays. So to our first ongoing Safeguarding Administrator training and support session. So just to recap, the last session was at the end of July. We finished off level 3, adults and children. And so just to quickly go through these in case you've got anything you want to ask about the suggested homework. Remember, it was suggested homework. It's not compulsory. It's just ideas for you to do. So there was the how do you feel today page of facial expressions to share. Make everyone aware of the Easy Read website. That's for adults with learning disability. Complete your feedback forms and email them to me. Speak to, I'll say a bit more about that in a second. Speak to safeguarding lead, show them the roles and responsibilities document and discuss what they want your role to be. Keep the staff and patients safeguarding boards up to date. Attend the general practice safeguarding network meetings regularly and feedback to staff. Start participating in internal safeguarding audits. So look within your practice, what kind of things can you do audits on regarding safeguarding to make sure your processes are up to date. Contribute to sharing the learning from external safeguarding audits and reviews. So that's like when your surgery is asked for records for a domestic homicide review, a safeguarding adults review, or a child safeguarding practice review. And even the West Midlands Fire Ambulances, they do reviews as well. Always be alert to safeguarding and keep in touch. And I'm happy to say some of you have been keeping in touch. So that's been lovely to hear from you. Just going back to feedback forms, if you've not sent them, please do send them. I know some people have sent them and I haven't sorted out certificates yet. It is on my list of things to do. I promise I'll try and get that done this weekend, just, with annual leave and things like that. So sorry about that. So today then, I would, anything you want to cover, please do put suggestions in the chat, or you can take yourselves off mute. But otherwise, I've got a couple of things I can cover in the time. What to do with your safeguarding registers. I do get a lot of queries around that. And then there is a video for 23 minutes, which is about, it's called Clarissa, and it discusses sort of, it looks at homeless and the effects of abuse and so on. And then I thought we could have a little discussion around that after watching the video. So if there's anything in the chat, would you, well, I'll just carry on. And if you think of anything or there's anything you want to discuss, please put it in the chat. Or as I say, pop yourselves off mute. You can ask what any questions you want, but otherwise I'll carry on just now then, and you can stop me at any time. So CQC, if we look at their document and what they're looking for when they do inspections, under the criteria of safe, they say we need safeguarding registers. So I'm sure you've all got them, but I thought we'd just go through them because actually when I looked back, I don't think we've covered this before. So you should have searches set up for your children, and I would recommend you divide them into the under 5s and then the 5 to 17s. And the kind of codes you want to search on are on a child protection plan, on a child in need plan, cause for concern, or vulnerable child or child at risk. These are the kind of codes, but basically any codes that your GPs and your clinicians are using. And the same for adults then, and that's from age 18 and above. And the kind of codes again, vulnerable adult, adult safeguarding concern, safeguarding adults protection plan agreed, adult victim of abuse, all the ones that you referred to the safeguarding adults team, you want to be reviewing them, and especially referral to safeguarding adults team declined, because this shows you were worried, your practice was concerned about a patient, you made a referral to social services and they didn't accept it. So that means there's more work to do and more help that patient needs. So these you must be reviewing those patient records. At risk of abuse and or victim of abuse. So actions to take, you should be running these searches once a month. You need to be checking the records of the adult or the child. And then you check the records of every member of the household as well. Remember that think family approach. So you look at all the consultations at the practice. Have they been in the practice in the last month? Any hospital letters, any ambulance call outs, any attendances to A&E, and specifically did they leave before being seen, and any out of hours attendances. That's kind of all. It's like being a detective and you're getting all the information. And then partnership working, remember you should be having meetings with your health visitor at least every 3 months. Some of you may need it more often because you've got so many children that you're worried about. So I've got practices who meet every 2 months. I've got practices who meet their health visitor monthly. If you are doing it every 3 months, remember you can contact your health visitor at any time if there's any child that you're concerned about. Don't wait for that safeguarding meeting. Have an arrangement with the health visitor. You know, like what number can I call you on? What email can I email you at if I'm, you know, if I need to speak to you urgently. And sorry, and a couple of you have already emailed me. If you're having problems, you know, getting in touch with your health visitor, if your meetings are not taking place, or your health visitor is not attending, you know, you can contact me and I'll take that forward for you. And then for the over fives, if sorry, so it says that's the under fives, or they may be over 5, but they've got siblings under 5. So the health visitor is interacting with the siblings, so you can still get an update from them. If you've got children who are at school now and they don't have any siblings under 5, if you made the original referral to Birmingham CAS or Solihull MASH, you can phone up and ask them for an update without renewed consent because you made the original referral. If you didn't make the original referral, often with school-aged children, it's school that's made the referral, you will unfortunately need to get parental consent before CAS or MASH will share any information with you. Unfortunately, that's the way their systems work. So you need to contact the parent for an update. You can just say, you know, we're aware that there was some safeguarding concerns last month. I'm just phoning to find out how are things going. What, you know, can you bring me up to date? Sometimes parents don't know what's going on. They really don't, bless them. So they might not be able to tell you what's going on. And some people, as we know, can, let's say, not always tell us the truth. So if you've got a case like that, then what you want to try and do is get the name of the school and consent, ideally, to contact the school. And if you get the consent, you can contact the school and ask to speak to the designated safeguarding lead and just say, I'm looking for an update, you know, on this child, hopefully ideally with consent. But even if you've not got consent, you can still phone and just say, could you share any information under a best interest decision? And then it will be the school's choice whether to share with you or not. If you can't contact the parent, you know, for any reason, then another option is to contact the school nurses and ask for the name of the school. But you do have to justify the request. They won't just do it as a blanket because everybody's busy. But if you justify, look, it's a safeguarding concern, explain the situation, and then they will give you the name of the school. And this is how you contact them. For Birmingham, you can email the two nursing teams, and for Solihull, you can give them a call. And then remember, you can contact any other non-health safeguarding partner in the family's life. But remember, outside of health partners, so we can freely share information with our health visitors, with our midwives, with secondary care, with our, you know, community psychiatric nurses, with our district nurses. But anybody outside without consent, but anybody outside of health, they would require consent. They'll say to you, have you got consent of the patient, the parent or the child, before they can share information. So just bear that in mind. And then for adults, if a patient has mental capacity, then obviously contact the patient for an update. If the patient doesn't have mental capacity, then you would contact their relative, as long as you know that they're not involved in the abuse, or their carer. A lot of care, you know, patients we know that they've got paid carer organisations. So make sure you've got those details on the patient's records. And there may be unpaid carers going in as well, so find out their details. If the patient has capacity, then technically you can't discuss them with other family members and carers without their consent, unless they're deemed to be at high risk. Then you could share under best interest decision, but my advice would be get advice first. Speak to us, the safeguarding team, or, you know, within the practice, you know, the GPs have their Medical Protection Society or Medical Defence Union. And contact adult social services. If you've made a referral and you've not heard anything, you can contact them for an update. And documentation is key. Make sure you add an entry into the medical records of the patient and all the family members, as well as any Excel spreadsheet. I've had a few of you say that you keep your safeguarding registers on Excel spreadsheets because it's easier to see and, you know, you can update it easy. That's great if you follow that system as well, but you still have to put something in the medical records, because, you know, they say, you know, if it's not in the records, it means it didn't happen. And obviously somebody else coming in to see the records, a locum, you know, a GP trainee, somebody like that, how would we know that you have been discussing the family and what actions you've been deciding if it's not in the records? We don't know about your Excel spreadsheet, so we're not going to go searching off it into other places. So do add something in the records of the patient and all the family members, and remember to hide it from online visibility. Well, consider whether you need to show it on for online visibility or remove it from online visibility. So show that you've reviewed the records, who you've spoken to and what they've said, and what your next actions are. So, you know, you put like safeguarding meeting, discussed with health visitor, you know, and health visitor will go and visit and she will feed back to us. And then we can review in 1 month, you know, or something like that. So any questions around that? As I say, it is a common topic that I get for get asked about. So I've got a question from Shelby. Do warnings ever get removed from the person's information bar, or do they stay there forever? So Shelby, do you mean the alerts? So in EMIS, are you talking about the manage box where we add alerts? Because we can add and remove them. And then in system one, the same, like on the home page or those icons on the top, they're all added from codes. So, or do you mean, I know there's some in EMIS where they're added through EMIS and then we can't remove them. So if you're talking about the child protection plan, the little red box that says CPP, yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to ever get removed. It might get removed actually when somebody turns 18. I don't know. Is it those ones you talk? Yeah, obviously, if the computer system has added it, we can't remove it. We can only remove the ones that we're adding and that we're responsible for. But now, of course, we've got online visibility, so I don't know if EMIS are reviewing their CPP, and System 1, I think, have this permanent blue dot, don't they, if they've got safeguarding concerns. But what I'd say is, in terms of safeguarding, it is useful to know, even when a person's, you know, turned 18, 20 years old, 30 years, 40 years old, it's still important to know, oh, when they were younger, they were a child, you know, they were on a child protection plan. Because remember, trauma is carried forwards and it can affect their physical health, their mental health. So it's just useful for us to still be aware of that. So in a sense, it's good not to have it removed. Oh, sorry, I thought Shelby was writing something more there. But maybe you can email me directly, Shelby, if I haven't answered your question correctly. So any other questions about the oh, thanks, Shelby. Okay, so shall we watch this video then? And what I'll do is, in case, remember last time, one of the times I tried to show a video and the it didn't work. It was so what I'll do is, hopefully that is the link for the video, I hope. But I shall try and share it now from here. So it's 23 minutes, have a comfortable seat, a cup of tea. So I should have, it's a warning. It is a little bit upsetting in a few places as well. So just get support for yourselves. Ooh. I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything? Oops, sorry, what have I done now? Sorry. Can you see it as well, Shelby? Sorry, bear with me. I think I didn't share the sound again, right? Just bear with me. Hang on. I think I'd know how to do this by now. Here we go. Here we go. Right. Can you hear it now? I hope.
Take it off. You all right, darling?
All right.
Something I can help you with? You are going to have to help me out here.
What you got?
Brown or white?
Anything else?
Some Valleys, Benzos.
Benzos.
All right, how many?
10.
Tenner.
How much for £5?
Forget it.
How much for £5?
Tenner or nothing.
Look, I need this.
So does everyone, darling.
I'm in real pain. In my back.
Yeah, right.
It's true, I'm in fucking agony.
Do you think I fucking care? You could pay me another way.
What do you mean? No, I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not that painful then.
How about if you borrow me the money? I swear I'll pay you back tomorrow. Spare some change. Can you spare some change? 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 You got some painkillers?
Sorry?
I need some painkillers. Have you got any?
Why do you need them? Where's the pain?
Does it matter? Look, it's a simple question. Have you got any painkillers?
My name is Jenna.
I don't give a shit what your name is. I just need some painkillers for my back.
What's your name? I just want to know what your name is.
Clarissa. My name is Clarissa.
I'm really sorry, Clarissa. I can't just give you painkillers. You'll need to make an appointment with the GP.
You've got to be kidding me.
Look, these are details for the local GP. Clarissa? Clarissa?
I'm not going in there.
Why not?
Why do you think? Have you seen the state of me?
You look fine. Anyway, it doesn't matter what you look like.
You're not listening. I don't belong there.
What about if we got some new clothes?
You really think that's going to make a difference?
I don't know.
Where would we get these clothes?
From the day centre in Pennyford.
All right, they got a fancy new boutique up there, have they? I bet it's all rank old women's clothes in bin bags, isn't it?
Just give it a go.
All right. Tomorrow. I'll meet you there tomorrow.
I'm sorry, that's my day off.
Forget it then.
Okay, look, let's do it tomorrow.
Okay.
What time's good for you?
11.
That's good for me. Here's the address.
Thanks. Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. I'm just glad you made it. The shop's just through there.
Right.
Did you want to freshen up before going in?
What do you mean?
I was just thinking you might want a shower. There's some showers here.
All right. No, I'm okay. Unless you think I should.
Try them on. Is it your back? Look, let me help.
It's all right. I don't think they're really for me anyway.
No, come on. I think they'll look great. Is it okay if I untie your shoelaces? You okay?
I think I might have that shower after all.
Feeling better?
Yeah. Thanks.
You look great, by the way.
Thanks.
Do you still want to try on the trainers? Excuse me, where are the trainers that were here earlier?
Oh, someone else took them. Sorry, did you want me to leave them to one side for you?
I forgot to ask. I'm really sorry, Clarissa.
Forget it.
I should have thought.
Seriously, it's not a problem.
We could see if we could find another pair somewhere else.
No! What's the deal here?
What do you mean?
Do you fancy me or something?
What? No. You don't seriously think that, do you?
No. It's just that I'm not used to...
All right, they're waiting. Okay. Hello, Morton Park Surgery. From 8:30. Okay. Bye. How can I help you?
I'd like to make an appointment.
Okay.
No, sorry. I don't want to book an appointment.
Hi, Sarita. Have you got the registration forms, please? She's with me. Thanks. Right. I'll take this call. Hello? Hi, Sean. When did this happen? Okay. Okay. Well, how does tomorrow afternoon sound? Good. I need to double check my diary. Good.
Check. No, he hasn't got his results yet.
Do you want a hand? Right. What's your surname?
Melville.
Date of birth?
23rd of November 1989.
Are you married? Divorced? Do you smoke? Do you have any allergies? Is there any history of illness in your family? Do you know if anyone in your family has had heart disease or cancer, for example?
How am I supposed to know that?
Okay. You just need to sign here.
Is there a mobile number on here?
Yes, just there.
Oh, yeah.
Could we also look to see if we can get an appointment booked in at the same time?
You're gonna have to find someone else to look after her.
Good, good. Have you had something to eat?
Hello, Morton Park Surgery. Okay.
Clarissa Melville. Clarissa Melville? Clarissa? So, I need to take a closer look at your back.
Take it off.
How you doing?
All right?
I hear you went to the surgery.
Yeah.
What happened?
What do you mean?
How did it go?
Leave me alone, would you?
I heard you ran out.
So why are you asking me what happened?
I just want to find out why you ran out.
Just fuck off, would you?
Yeah.
Look, Clarissa, I'm trying to help.
I mean it! Fuck off!
Me. I'm just on a safeguard.
Actually, I just came to give you this.
I'll be coming in here most of the day. Have you
See you around.
me? It probably would be shadowed. So I'll just run in and get.
Keep your fucking trainers!
What happened at the surgery, Clarissa?
You don't give up, do you? Nothing happened at the surgery.
What about your back? I could do the examination for you.
Why do you keep coming back here? Have you not got the message yet? No one gives a shit about you. If you're trying to make yourself feel better about yourself, fine. But don't do it here. Trust me, we don't want you.
If you change your mind, you know where to find me.
Right. Just get back to the presentation. So yes, I forgot to mention to watch it with a view to answer the question: how can primary care, your practices, make it easier for homeless people to register and be seen in a trauma-informed way? Does anybody want to put in the chat? That's quite upsetting. It had a happy ending though. Quite emotional. Anybody want to put any thoughts in the chat? It is what was it, you know, what you thought, like the life of a homeless person? Did it give you kind of new insights into the kind of things they have to deal with? Or any thoughts about how you can make your practices easier for people to register? You're probably going to be aware of there's a practice who has the contract for seeing homeless people specifically. So, but you know, any of our practices could have a person come to us and want to be seen, and we should really register them. Yes, you're right, Shelby. That's very true. So yeah, Shelby says it's difficult as we're usually programmed not to put ourselves in situations the nurse put herself in, but it shows what one person can do. I think that I kind of got the sense that she was maybe part of like a team who goes to see homeless people. I wasn't sure about that, but then at the end they showed she is actually a practice nurse at the practice. So yeah, maybe she's just doing this in her own time, just helping the local homeless people that are close to the surgery. But yeah, you're right. It's just, and did you see how confrontational Clarissa was all the time? Just angry, aggressive. You know, it takes time to build that relationship with people who've been abused because they don't trust anybody. That they're wary of everybody. And you saw, like she said, well, you know, why are you bothering with me? You know, it's like nobody's ever bothered with me. Why are you bothering with me? You must want something out of it. Do you fancy me or something? So they can, you know, they can misconstrue it. They think that you're just looking to abuse them as well. So that's what they're afraid of, being abused again. Yes, so let's have a look at, so just a quick summary of the story. I forgot about this, yeah. So 30-year-old Clarissa was subjected to child sexual abuse by somebody who was supposed to care for her. She felt shame and he then discarded her. He asked for her to be placed elsewhere. So that's rejection. And actually me watching this now second time round, I actually realized I think the reason he got rid of her was because she started saying no. She stopped him. And that's why he wasn't interested in her anymore. And the other thing is children instinctively know when something's wrong, don't they? They just know that this abuse is not right. They can tell. You know, you don't have to like explain it to them. So age 30, she was homeless with all her belongings on her, her rucksack and her sleeping bag. She had tatty clothes, she smelt, she suffered from back pain and she needed painkillers. And we can see, bless her, why she needs painkillers. You know, she was sitting, you know, sleeping against that wall. You know, if you do that, even if you try that even for 20 minutes, you're going to start getting back pain. She only had £5. The drug dealer wanted £10, and he said she could provide him sexual services for the other £5. She refused point blank at that stage. Then the nurse from the local surgery tried to help. She told her about a shop where she could get free clothes. She had the chance to take a shower. She convinced her to come to the surgery, and then she couldn't fill out the questionnaire, and she didn't know her family history because she didn't know her family because she was obviously a child in care. She panicked. The nurse, there's so many questions, wasn't there, that asking, and some of them as well, they don't do well educationally. They've not had the chance to complete school, so maybe the reading and the writing was difficult for her as well. We've got to consider that. She attended the appointment, but she's made to wait, and she nearly walked out. And again, it's fear. It's a new place for her. She's scared. She's scared of the four walls. She's scared of the people in the four walls. What might happen to her? So you know, she was ready to walk out. It was a male doctor. He wanted to examine her back, and him touching her reminded her of her sexual abuse, and she left in a panic. She went back for the drugs in a desperate state to the drug dealer. The nurse bought her a pair of trainers that she'd seen in the shop, but by the time, you know, the ones that by the time she got back from her shower. So she had two choices: go back to this GP surgeon, be seen by the female nurse, Jenna, or keep doing sexual favours for that drug dealer to get drugs for her pain. And thankfully she chose the nurse, but you can see it could have easily gone the other way. And a lot of our patients, that's the kind of vicious circle that they're stuck in. So yeah, so how can primary care and your practices make it easier for homeless people to register and be seen in a trauma-informed way? So one of you put, yeah, help filling out the forms, definitely. Not insisting on ideal residents yet. Yeah, easier if there's a social worker with them, true. But would they engage with a social worker? But that would be good, yeah, if we could link them up with a social worker. And yes, you're right, Julie. Yes, she should have been offered, actually not could have, she should have been offered a chaperone for the physical examination. So that's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that. I'll add that. So some suggestions that I thought of was, so no need to ask about their previous trauma. You can take it as a given. She's homeless. There's some factors obviously leading up to that. People don't just become homeless for no reason, but we don't need to ask about them. Just take it as a given that she's had a hard life and an abusive childhood. Review your registration forms, yeah, offer help to complete them. I know it's not always easy or practical when you've got a busy surgery, you know, the waiting room, etc. But just have a think about how maybe we could do that, because it's not for every patient. Become a safe surgery, as you've said, that's where you don't ask for a proof of address. And if you're not familiar with that, Doctors of the World run a campaign to make every surgery what we call a safe surgery, where you're not asking people for proof of ID. And I've invited Marina Davison, who's from the Doctors of the World. She's going to give a half-an-hour bite-sized session on Wednesday, the 21st of September. So you'll get this presentation and there's the link to that, but I'll also send it round on an email. So some other suggestions: try to accommodate the patient when they come in. They may not come back, and so that would have been a missed opportunity to help them. Again, I know it's not always easy, but if they come in, if you can just ask the duty doctor, please could you just see this one patient because of, and explain the circumstances, rather than tell them to come back. And don't keep them waiting too long. Remember, they do get scared. And can you offer them within your practice a private or secluded place to sit and wait, rather than in the waiting area with lots of other patients, lots of people making noise? You know, that would worry them. Maybe if you've got a little corner you can sit them in, or you know, even in another room, and then you can say to the doctor, you can get the patient out of you know, room 16. But give them the choice. You know, say, would you like to sit here, or I can offer you, would you like to sit there? And then they can choose themselves. And remember, if they are homeless, offer them a hot drink and a biscuit, or even a sandwich if you can. You don't know when they last ate something. And then consider they didn't cover this, but how are they going to get their prescription? They need to be on benefits to be able to claim free prescriptions, which maybe a lot of them aren't. And then speak to your local pharmacist then and say, look, explain the situation, you know, and say, you know, they might not be able to sign, I'll sign on their behalf if they, you know, if they can't read and write, you know, to link up with your local pharmacist to find out how they're going to get their prescriptions. Is there anything else to say on that? So I'll just finish off with the last few slides, and I'll certainly add that chaperone suggestion. Thanks, Julia. So dates for further meetings. So I had suggested once a month, and the time to stick to the same time that we've had before, 1 till 2, is 1 hour. You know, maybe you want shortened sessions. Maybe you don't want them to be 1 hour anymore. They will all be recorded though, and the link in the presentation will be emailed to you just as before. And can we rotate the days? Some of the people have contacted me and said, well, we can't make, you know, the Wednesday or the Thursday anymore. So I was thinking that every time we have it, if we chose a different day, then that at least would allow, you know, different people to attend, and then other people can watch the recordings, because sometimes you want the session to be live so that you can ask questions. So just have a consideration on that. So my suggestions for the next meeting next month is either Friday, the 7th of October, or Tuesday, the 18th of October. So if you can put in the chat now which one suits you better, or I am going to send round a survey to you all. I'll email it, and these are the questions I'm going to ask. How often should we have the meetings? So there's some options there. How long for? What start time? Because I'm reasonably flexible. What day of the week? The only day I can't do is Mondays, because that's my day in general practice. And then the suggestions for the 2 days, and then any other topics that you want to see covered. It can be a new topic, or it can be a recap of a previously covered topic. We've covered a lot of topics, haven't we? And because of the time, you know, we've only been able to really touch the surface. If there's something you want me to go into deeper, you know, detail, I'm happy to cover that topic again. That's the whole point of this, you know. The thing is, September now, you know, it's flu season. We're going to be busy thinking about the flus, and we've got finishing off all the coughs and calling in the diabetics and the COPDs. There's always something going on in general practice, and this is just like 1 hour out of the month just to remind ourselves, put our safeguarding brains back on again, and think, oh yes, you know, we've still got to be considering safeguarding as well. So I've updated the roles and responsibilities of the safeguarding administrator. This will be version 10 now, and I've added run the searches on the registers monthly, review the patient's records and update them. I know a lot of practices, the GPs are doing this. You'd save the GPs a whole load of time. I'm sure they'll be forever grateful to you if you can take over that task. So I'm going to send you the survey, the presentation, the link to the recording and the roles and responsibilities version 10. Suggested homework then, set up, if you're not already doing this, set up your safeguarding searches for your adults and your children, run them every month, have safeguarding meetings with your health visitor every 3 months as a minimum, invite other safeguarding partners. You might ask the midwife, the district nurses, because remember now we can do virtually, so they don't have to take time out and come to the surgery. You can try and set up a hybrid model where you've got some people in surgery and then you've got a screen and other people can join in virtually. Share the Clarissa video link with staff at the practice, but do give them a warning about the content of it and the foul language. Think about what your practice can do to allow homeless people to register more easily, and just basically trauma. People who have been abused, they may not be homeless, but they've still got those same factors, the fear, the paranoia, maybe not able to read and write so well, not confident, you know, and with the fuel crisis, they may not be able to have showers as often as they want to. They're not going to wash their clothes as often as they want to. So they may be coming in sort of smelly and dirty, but, you know, we need to make allowances. There's always a reason behind that, yeah? And unfortunately, more often than not, the reason is previous abuse or even current abuse. Make sure all your staff are trauma aware. Don't leave patients waiting too long. Warn them. If this is a message back to the clinicians, warn them that you're going to touch them. If maybe if the doctor had explained, like you said, have a chaperone, a female chaperone, and for male doctors, and say, and even female doctors, and explain, I need to have a look at your back. I am going to touch you. Is that okay with you? You know, so just so at least they're aware. And then complete the survey as well about the ongoing sessions. I'll send that around. And then any feedback if you'd like. Thanks, Julia. Yeah, I'll check all the chat afterwards, and I'll just have to go with whoever, you know, the largest number of votes. But anyway, any feedback you'd like to put in? I am interested what you think of this ongoing session. Was it useful to you? Can you see it being useful going forwards? Anything different you're going to do on the back of what we've covered today? And yeah, keep these dates in the diary then, and I will, once I've confirmed the date, I will forward an invite to you. So let me just come out of that. So you're welcome to take yourselves off mute. If there's any feedback you want to give, any questions you'd like to ask. Otherwise, you can finish a whole 10 minutes early. Thank you. Thanks. Yes, I've got 3 for the 18th. 4 for the 18th. Okay, so it's looking like it's probably going to be the 18th, but I will send out the survey. Yes, otherwise you're free to go. Thank you. I'll stay on for a few minutes if there's any other questions. Thanks, Shelby. I really appreciate all your support. Thanks a lot. Maybe one day we can meet face to face.